Welcome everybody, it's Taormino here, and today's a great day because today I'm bringing to you another Memory Monday. But today isn't going to be much different than last week's episode from Final Fantasy, except for it's going to be on a different console. Actually, I was introduced into this game way before the last game, Final Fantasy 3, but this one today is going to be Final Fantasy Legend 2. Now, Final Fantasy Legend 2 is out on the original Game Boy. I luckily grew up, and my father, who had played a lot of Dungeons & Dragons, he didn't play it too frequently, but he did play the game and actually introduced me into a lot of the Final Fantasy franchise, from Final Fantasy Legend to Final Fantasy Adventure to Sword of Mana, things like that. But the reason why Final Fantasy Legend 2 falls into my category of one of my most favorite games is not only because it kind of brought me into the Final Fantasy genre. It felt like I was exploring. What the story of the game is that you, as the son of your father ends up going missing, and you end up going to search for your father because he's gone. What first starts out as you just being a child telling your teacher in class, I'm gonna go look for my father. Your teacher in class says, okay, cool, we're gonna have a couple other students go with you. Why don't you go pick out what your favorite students are, and they'll just follow you on your search to go find your father. So right out the gate, the game actually lets you pick from a bunch of different races. You can choose from male to female human. You can choose robot. You can choose a beast. You can choose, I think, as a mutant is one of them as well. And they all have different type of abilities. Like, for example, the beast, every now and then when you fight enemies, you can eat meat from the enemies, and your monster that is in your party will then change. So he can be a wyvern one time, and then he can turn into like a big skeleton the next, and then he can turn into a giant frog as they keep eating different meat. So one of the reasons why I love the game is I remember playing it, and unfortunately the characters were so limited in regards to like name-wise. You only had 4 characters, not the character, but the name of the character. You only had 4 to make your name, so when I would always put my name, I have to lose a couple syllables and stuff like that. At a young age, starting with this game, I always put myself in the game. I still always see myself in these games. I always love to play them and put myself in the game, or have some sort of character creation to these games or character choice, because I want to play these games as if I was in the game myself and I had to make those decisions, or I was dealing with the subject of it at hand. So I remember playing this game shortly after I got my Game Boy when I was younger. And I remember taking my Game Boy everywhere with me. A lot of it was in car rides, because when I was younger, I was really active. I would do, obviously, school, but then I would play soccer, I would play baseball as well. So there was a lot of traveling in the car. Also, when I would go to my babysitters, as I mentioned in the last video, I had a lot of time to kill in the mornings and after school. While I was waiting to be picked up by my parents, or in the summertime when we had no schoolwork, I had an abundance of time to play video games. And to this day, I actually still refer to any handhelds that I have as my Game Boy because it was that important to me. So I actually have my 3DS just sitting here. That wasn't set up for the shot. I actually just have it on my desk. But it was just something that was real important to me when I was growing up, that while I was playing this game, it felt like I was dealing with something in regards to my father. Like, he was lost and I had to try to find him, and I've always had a good job of empathizing and sympathizing with people and feeling what they feel. And within this game, I felt as my character was lost, trying to find his father, and it made me sad, and it made me want to carry on through the game in order to find my father. And they do a big troll in the beginning of the game because you look at the sprite of what your father is. He's got like this hat and stuff like that. You go to this town in the very beginning of the game, and you see his sprite backwards, and you go to run and talk to him, but he's like some dude with like big eyeballs and stuff, and it's clearly not him. But I thought what was really cool about the game, when you die in the game, the god Apollo ends up reviving you. And what happens is you learn that your world is not the only world that's out there. There are multiple worlds. And as you go through these worlds, through these space grapevines that are connecting all these worlds together, you start picking up clues that your father is out there. And there's the search for pieces of magi and magic and stuff like that that you get along the way. And I thought that at one point, and I don't mind talking about it now because the game is so dang old, eventually you run into Apollo's world, and you have to fight Apollo, and he's very strong. Once you defeat Apollo, towards the end of the game, you don't get revived anymore when you die. It's it. That's it. You die, you're done. Like, there's no more hand-holding or anything like that. You killed the god that was saving you the whole time for some reason I don't remember off the top of my head. And I just thought, like, this type of game that was like, don't worry, we're gonna help you along the way, and then like just instantly just dump you off, and you're like, no, you're gonna have to do this all on your own. Like, this is on your own now. And it was just so fun playing it. And I've gone back and I've tried to play the game a handful of times afterward. I've modded my Wii that I have behind me, and I've played it on there. I unfortunately don't own the copy anymore, and I would love to have a copy of it again. I have to find out who sells it and get it eventually, but that's fine. It's a little difficult to play. One thing that I remember not liking so much when I was younger was the inventory system. You can't stack items. It's just like potion, 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 potion. You have a limited sack of what you can put all in there. But it becomes more difficult to play now where items are stackable, and like you're used to like Pokemon, or like even the newer Final Fantasy 15 where you get like 99 potions, 99 high potions, and it's just nice and neat and crisp. And the movement system is just difficult, but it just brings back a lot of memories, just listening to the intro music and then watching your father come wake you up in the middle of the night, and you're like, dude, what are you doing? And then he leaves through the window, and you're always like, why does he leave through the window? And then go through this massive hunt that's far, far, far beyond the reach of what you actually expected it to be, through all these grapevines, all these different worlds. There's like samurai worlds, and there's different people there, and there's different monsters, and it's just so cool. I don't know if you guys have ever played that game. Have you guys ever played Final Fantasy Legend 2? Because there's more than one, obviously, because that's the second. Let me know in the comment section below if you guys have ever played that game. You ever heard of the game? Have you ever seen any gameplay of it? And give me your opinions on it. I'd love to hear it. I'd love to have some discussions with you guys about these types of games. But as always, guys, I appreciate you watching, and stay tuned for the next Memory Monday.